Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel, or if you're new here, welcome. My name is Heather, and on this channel we like to walk a very fine line between a shopping addicted makeup monster and a responsible adult with a makeup hobby. Now, I really enjoy eyeshadow singles, duochromes, multichromes, blush, highlight, lip gloss, basically everything except pressed glitter, and today we're going to be talking through my small but curated Christmas palette collection. So if that sounds like something you're interested in, stick with me, we're getting into it right now. Alright, and I will start with this palette, which is Gourmand Girl Silent Night. That's what I have on my eyes today, and this is the first look that I've done with the palette, and I do think it's very nice, the look that I did, but I want to give this palette a little bit more work before I kind of come to a conclusion as to whether or not I think you should purchase it. So I'm still in the process of testing this one out. And there are some other palettes that I am working on testing out as well. This one from Nomad, this is the Santa's Village palette from last year, and a lot of people did not like this palette. What happened to this palette? I think some little kid fingers got into this palette. Yeah, definitely some little kid fingers got in this palette. But anyway, so this is the palette that Nomad released last year at Christmas time, and it was not very well received. I think that's because the metallics that they used in here were very like topper quality, and I don't think that's what people wanted out of this palette. I've used it, I think, for 2 looks so far, and I liked how both the looks came out, but I definitely think you have to put a little bit more effort into getting the looks where you want them to be because of sort of the sheer quality of the metallics. So I'm still in the process of testing that one out. And then I did pick up the ColourPop Holidays from last year, and I picked this up because I thought these colors would be great to sort of move around and do different palette color stories with. So I wasn't necessarily like enthralled by this whole color story, but I thought these individual colors would be nice to sort of mix and match with other things in my collection. So I haven't like formally tried this one out by itself. Then if you guys have been keeping up on my channel, you know that I did a look using each of the 2 new palettes from Odin's Eye for this year. We have the Snow Dream palette, which looks like this. And Hey Reindeer, which looks like this. So pretty. And I just, you know, what I've learned about Odin's Eye is like, if you think you might like it, just pick it up, because if it runs out of stock, they're not going to restock it. You're going to have regrets, and then you're going to pay too much for it to get it later, which is what I did with this one right before they brought it back, because this is the only palette that they've gone out of stock with that they actually brought back at some point. But this is the Merry Christmas palette, looks like this, and I really like this particular palette. I think my favorite shade in the palette is this one right here, but this one is also pretty special because it has this really nice pink flip to it. And I think the mattes that they chose in here, you've got like some warmer tones and some what I would argue is like cooler tones to sort of complement all the shades in here. Overall, I think it's a really pretty palette, and I like the finishes of this palette. And then this was the palette that really started my love for these holiday palettes with Odin's Eye. And this is the Christmas Eve palette. This one is so pretty. This one, like the Silent Night palette from Gourmand Girls, definitely gave me like nostalgia of this palette too, because I think they're very similar. I love this like super deep dark blue. The silver in here is really nice. Even this kind of like taupey silver is really nice as well. And the mattes in here, I think they did a good job of picking mattes that were complementary, but not necessarily monochrome. All right, and I don't know if this goes in Halloween or Christmas. I think I usually end up mentioning it in both. I definitely think of it as more of a Halloween movie than a Christmas movie, but I'll show it here for sake of thoroughness. This is the Nightmare Before Christmas in ColourPop collection. I think this is a pretty palette, but these 2 shades were definitely pretty disappointing in this palette. So when I use this, I use it for the mattes, and then I have to go find shimmers somewhere else, which is not the end of the world, but just something to know. And then at one point I was going to declutter this, and then I didn't because it's so cute. This is one of the Too Faced holiday palettes. So in the very top, you have a bronzer highlighter in behind her little face. And then in her torso, you get a quad of blushes. And then in her abdomen, you get this palette of shades here. And of course, this is like classic Too Faced, right? Because you get like this pop of like pinky raspberry kind of a shade, predominantly neutrals. You get a pop of blue, pop of green, pop of purple. And then they did this stupid glitter, which I don't think they needed. I think they would have been better off without it, but the rest of this palette is pretty nice. And it still smells like vanilla. So I feel like if it still smells good and it still looks super cute, we'll hang on to it. And then last but not least in this incredibly short video is BH Naughty palette. Now I had the Nice palette too, and I just never reached for it. I never even opened it to use it to take off like the saran wrap on it. So I did go ahead and pass that along to somebody else who I thought would get more use out of it. But this is what the Naughty palette looks like, and I really like this palette. I really like this palette. I like that you have kind of these dark green shades in here. I like the purple in here. This blue is really, really pretty. You've got kind of the like raspberry purpley shades here, and then some nice cool tone neutrals. I think all in all, this palette is really, really nice. It's enormous, which is a little ridiculous, but I do think it's a really nice quality, which is why I keep it around. Okay. I honestly think that's all my holiday palettes. I don't buy a lot of like Christmas specific palettes because I feel weird using them all throughout the year, but these are the ones that have kind of captured my heart and I've held on to despite declutters, despite, you know, having other options to purchase with. So yeah, that's everything for this video. I want to thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe before you go, and I'll see you in my next one.